Hello and welcome to another episode of the Almond View podcast. I am your host, Jake Pointer, and joined by me tonight are my lovely pals, Povey, Thomas Fro, and Owen Innes.
Hello there.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we did think we were going to be without Owen Innes tonight due to his birthday, but unfortunately for us, but unfortunately for Owen, the Jackson Longridge cancelled last minute on their dinner together. So we're here as a full squad tonight. Firstly, we're going to be discussing another double whammy of Livingston victories, with the men winning 3-1 away at Stenhousemuir on Saturday and a huge top-of-the-table away victory at Rossvale for the ladies, which ended in 3-2 to the Lionesses. Lastly, we're going to bring back Got Your Number for a slightly more obscure one, number 16, as we celebrate how well Mr. Bradley has started with the Livy Lions. So sit back. I've not wrote an ending for this bit. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. Didn't finish out. Fuck. So sit back, grab yourself a cup of tea, and chill out with us here at the Almond View podcast.
That took you that long to come up with that? Fucking hell.
I did it in 3 seconds.
It's the same ending to every other one that we've had this season.
No.
It's always grab yourself
I like my endings. I put effort into my endings.
Aye.
But
They're good.
completely forgot today.
They're good.
I know, I forgot about my hat. I forgot to mix up. Sorry to the fans at home. I've let everybody
Should have went, sit back, get your birthday hat on for Owen, for something like that.
Oh yeah, it's so easy, isn't it?
Yeah. That was way better than have a cup of tea.
You didn't even finish it. Have a cup
So
of
sit
tea.
back, get your birthday hat on, and sing happy birthday to Owen as we start the Almond View podcast.
Let's get straight into our first game as the Livingston Lions defeated Stenhousemuir 3-1 away on Saturday. 2 goals from Stephen Bradley and 1 from Pitts made sure that Martindale did not chop off every single one of our players' heads at full time after his halftime speech. So, Povey, I'm going to start with yourself. You had a lovely day in hospitality, didn't you? My few friends have been there before, said it's absolutely class. Would you recommend? Would you be back at Stenny again for another experience?
Aye, absolutely. I mean, obviously there was no Livy game on, but it's just up the road for me, which was ideal. It was bizarre actually when we were talking about it. We were at the pub, and we were saying, "Oh, we've got to do Stenhousemuir sometime because I heard so many good things." And then that very night, we totally forgot the Scottish Cup draw was on, and we drew Stenhousemuir. We were like, "Wait a minute, that was coincidence." So it had to happen, didn't it? And we got in nice and early, got booked into it, and yeah, it's a brilliant day. 75 quid, and we were there nice and early. We went to I wanted to go to the Ploughs, which was excellent. I heard it was brilliant. It picked up just as we were leaving, but I hope everyone had a good scoosh there because everyone was in fine voice in the away end. Anyway, it's quite bizarre being in the home end. Very unlike me to be looking at the away end, and obviously there's so many Livy fans. Part of me was a bit gutted I wasn't in there, but it was actually class. Hearing it, man. You know what chant I love right now is I don't even know when this started, and it sounded hilarious from where we were. But I remember years ago when we used to joke about "Come On Livingston" being sung, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I love the addition of the it's so funny. Hearing it from that. The home end was hilarious. It's "Come on Livingston, we gotta go on and on and." I don't know. I don't even know where it is, but it's hilarious. Anyway, so very, very good, very good. Food was amazing there, and obviously, yeah, it was an interesting game because 1-0 down. It was a bit terrifying, but we got the job done, and we celebrated the goals anyway. respectfully, I'd say the Stenhousemuir fans around us were sound. Like, we got no jibes for celebrating our goals. But it was good chat. It was good chats with the Stenhousemuir, and they hosted well. It was class, and we got to meet that football adventures lad before. I don't know, I'm sure many of you probably a lot more folk have seen that video than listened to our episodes anyway. But probably accumulated all our episode listens in that one video, to be honest. But he was a lovely guy as well. So. Great day, fabulous. Well, let's talk about the football, not my day. Let's get chatting about the game.
Well, Thomas
was there as well, So,
hi, Thomas. Just before we move on, just to talk about the actual game. So you mentioned about the ploughs that Ross Coots kind of organised. I remember beating the one that was amazing before that guy threw a flare before the playoff. Was it kind of similar? Did they have like Livy tunes go in? Was it quite a lot of people in? Was it like Livy chants, or was it just kind of a small section? I would have loved to go on. That would have been brilliant going to that pre-match. What was it kind of like there? You mentioned.
I don't know what it was like, but we left at 12:30, so folk were just arriving when we got there. It was literally like me and Big Al when we first got there. So
really?
Yeah, it was nothing. It was nothing like that. But I'm sure it picked up later. It was good, and hopefully more things like that happen, because. It's so good to get together. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, well, definitely. I'm sure Ross will organise many more, even for our next round. Well, actually, we're going to be at home next round. Never mind. Maybe the round after that. Okay, so let's move on to the actual game. So, from the highlights, Tam, I kind of, I watched the kind of goal going in. Looked to me that Fitzy was sleeping a little bit. The boy timed his header really well, got ahead of him. Would you kind of agree? And was that goal kind of coming at the point? Did Stenny have quite a lot of possession for that? What was the kind of situation?
Yeah, I probably would agree. We fell asleep a wee bit. Probably because we were attacking so much. We controlled the game totally in the first half. I know, Povey, you were raging at half time, which you put down to, I think, was it 7 points and a few shots. You were raging at half time, but I was like, look guys, let's all calm down here. Let's all just relax.
Povey.
We've controlled the game.
Yeah, man.
We've controlled the game. We're doing alright. We're getting in the right positions. We just haven't managed to hit the back of the net yet, which is obviously concerning, but it was alright. Like, I wasn't buzzing at half time, but it was okay. Like, we'd controlled the game. They offered very, very little. I think, I haven't checked the stats, but I think that was maybe their only shot on target, the goal. Certainly in the first half. So, yeah, we had way more possession. We controlled it quite well, and then just fell asleep at the back once, which obviously you don't want to do. You do that against kind of a better team that aren't going to concede 3 quickly in the second half, then you might probably be punished.
Sorry, I've got to say that goal I thought was brilliant. I thought, when was the last time we scored a header like that? I thought it was a really well taken corner, despite maybe like Fitzwater should have been there, whatever. You can't argue that's a proper corner. I'd love to see Livy do that more often. I feel like we've not scored from a set piece or like from a cross in like that in a while now, and I think that is something we should have in our locker, and we've shown we have in our locker in the past. But I thought well taken goal, brilliant header actually.
Yeah, it was.
It's the type of positions that we were seeing Io getting into last season in particular, but just don't really seem to be kind of getting them getting the deliveries and corner kicks into those kind of dangerous areas. My favourite part about that goal though was Stenhousemuir. Twitter obviously posted a picture of the player who scored, so they all have like their own little graphics and things like that. And the image of Stenhousemuir's player, was it Nicky Jameson, who scored? His images of him pointing towards what is supposed to be the badge of Stenhousemuir, but is actually the kit maker.
Puma.
So he's not actually like pointing to the Stenhousemuir badge to say I play for Stenhousemuir. It's like I wear a Puma top. I just found it. See when you go to the lower leagues, their tops They're always amazing. I'm still in love with the East Fife tartan one just now that they've got, the Joma one. I actually even got that because actually Liam got it for me for my birthday last year.
I remember.
Absolutely fantastic top. But anyway, that was my. But the goal, I completely agree with Bovey. Very, very, very good delivery into the front post, and Fitzy sleeping a little bit, leaving him unmarked. But again, it's been kind of the kind of similar thing over the last couple of games when we've conceded goals. Is there's other defenders nearby that could be doing a lot better as well. Fair enough, the run isn't tracked properly, but defending could have been a whole lot better. It was a great goal, very, very worthy of getting a goal there against us.
Yeah, but get it up them because we did come back in the second half, but maybe due to an absolutely fucking raj Davy Martindale, which we all got to hear, which I think I got sent maybe close to 6 times. I love it how people like send me Livy stuff, and you guys might get the same. It's just like, I am a Livy fan. I do see like on what everybody else sees, and it's almost like you've had something to do with this Davy Martindale thing.
It's all your fault.
So it's fucking sent to me. I didn't record it.
I know, mate. I got sent the Footy Adventures video like 10 times. I'm like,
I was on it.
I was in the video. Like, unreal.
I know, it's funny if people do that. So, what were you guys' thoughts a bit on that? So, obviously, Martindale. We know, what he's like. We've always said that kind of rough diamond, and fair play. He went absolutely tonto, and you could hear like certain names. I can't remember if we deciphered that ourselves in the group chat. I think someone maybe like Pittman, you're fine. Someone else fine. You need to foot up your arse or something like that. Going mental. People are sending that to me, going, "This is fucking class," because they know what Martindale's like. As now we've started to kind of know the players and kind of that. Sometimes I feel, fucking hell, is he like that all the time? Like, is that like, a regular thing that the players are getting their arse kicked? Or are we like, fucking class, that's where a manager should be, old school? Whoever kind of wants to chip in first. What's kind of your thoughts on it? Yeah, go on.
Well, definitely, if you walk past the Tony Macaroni Arena on a training day, that's essentially what you hear. Davey, I think, and in a way, it's like, it's a good thing to be kind of, shouting and bawling at players all the time. Do you know, it seems to work. It's the way that Davey seems to manage, and I think when he came out after, so there's now been an article. Callum Carson has, obviously spoken to Davey about it and getting his thoughts on it, and Davey was saying that was the Cam part. Of his team talk. So obviously what's happened is that these two kids, I'm guessing it's the ball boys or whatever, who apparently aren't actually supposed to have their phones in that particular part of the ground. But anyway, so the ball boys have obviously heard Davey going half his nut, taking out their phones and started filming that bit or recording that particular bit. So I'm guessing it must have been a lot worse before they started recording it. So I think, again, when you look at it, go right, okay, that's hilarious. It's funny. He's swearing. He's doing this, that, and the other. But it worked. At the end of the day, that was his halftime team talk, and it worked. If that was his pre-game team talk, I would maybe be panicking a little bit. But because it's the halftime team talk, it's obviously they've went out and done what they were to go out and do, and that was to obviously turn the game around. So, I think it's funny, but it's also like, I think those type of things need to be left in the
shadows.
They need to be, as it's in a private room. Those particular type of things need to remain private, in my opinion.
Owen Grassen on the ball boys, like absolute
You wee
grass.
grass.
Well, most of the ball boys at Stenhousemuir are probably fucking Rangers and Celtic fans anyway, so who gives a shit?
They were all
Aye, man. To be fair, like brave boys, like I would not be risking getting caught doing that if Davy walked and saw them giggling away.
they were all about 4-year-old.
Fury out in them.
Half of
I
them
know.
weren't taller than the wall that was in front of the away end. They were fucking tiny. Like, how young are people giving phones to kids these days? Because honestly, they didn't have a clue what they were doing.
This is proper podcast material.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nah. So my
whole point though is like on the Footy Adventures video, the guy, forgive me for not knowing what his name is, Ben or something. When he goes up to like all the kids who are in the Stenhousemuir end, it's like, oh, so who do you support? Celtic. And obviously Stenhousemuir. How do you think and then there was like interviewing the young boy who was he like working for the club or something like that. It's like, I'm here for the first half and then I'm going up to Perth to watch fucking Rangers. You're just like, man, this is what's killing teams like Stenhousemuir and teams in these lower leagues. Is and even for Livy, it's shocking to think of. But anyway, that is not the point of what we're talking about. But I just thought I would bring that. I just thought that was funny as well. So,
To be honest, I absolutely don't blame Davey for doing that. From what Thomas said, obviously, like I wasn't best pleased with how we did in the first half. A lot of fingers needed pulled out, and they obviously worked. So I'm all for it if it's going to work. And if you think about it, I can't imagine Jim Goodwin did that against Darville the other night there, because there's no fingers were getting pulled out any arses for Aberdeen anyway. So yeah, good on Davey.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, especially kind of in that kind of hindsight of last night, what happened. Obviously to a much kind of almost bigger scale, but we could have quite easily have gone into that second half and just been shiting ourselves the whole time about making mistakes, and then them just sitting in so much. But the fact that we didn't, we could put that down to the team talk, down to the players, whatever. So yeah. Good
at the
work,
current
Davey.
time of recording, almost 24 hours later, Jim Goodwin is still in a job.
How?
Yeah.
How is that a thing?
How fucking
Like, genuinely, Jim Goodwin is still in a job right now. This might change by the time that this gets released, but that is just fucked up. I don't get it.
Who knows? Okay, let's move on to the second half, which is a lot more positive Povey for us all. So I'm going to go back to you, Tam. So this is, I want to go back to you because we talk about this a lot with Bruce Anderson. As you say, he's a wee wasp in your English-Scottish accent. Brilliant from Bruce. Again, that's just the definition. Scrappy, getting the ball back, looking up, finding pits for a really good finish and to get us back in it. Talk about the goal, but I'm sure that's kind of, that's a personal favourite from yours, that exactly kind of Brucey play.
Oh, you cut up a wee bit there, but I'll continue. I think I got the gist of it.
You got it, okay.
I think so. No, it was a great goal, and it was exactly what we needed. Kind of just after half time, it really kind of settled us down a lot. You're spot on. Bruce was an absolute wasp. Just making a nuisance of himself, running into the channels. It's maybe something. I don't know if they maybe pushed up a little bit higher at the start of the second half, which makes no sense for them to do. But we didn't seem to be getting that luck. All of our attacks in the first half came from a little bit deeper. Had some nice stuff on the left-hand side in the first half with penners, but everything in behind was just kind of going straight to the keeper, or we weren't having much luck with it. It was going straight out. But second half, we get in behind. Brucey does amazing to recover the ball, and what a finish that is for Pitts. It's something that we've been screaming on for ages. We've wanted him to get a goal. David was obviously fairly happy with his contribution at half time from what we've heard, and he can be such a big player for us, especially when he's chipping in goals, because it's especially with Kelly chipping in a few as well, it's going to make it hard for him to kind of guarantee that spot every week. But if he does that every week, we screamer outside the box, I'll no complain. There was a time a few years ago where you'd put your money on him scoring 3 or 4 goals for outside the box over a season, but he's just not kind of this season. Last season, he's not managed to do it. His thunder cunting isn't working.
Aye, was that? How would you explain that shot, that goal from Pitts, in a thunder sense?
What was
Penners was a thunder bastard.
a thunder bastard? I would say that was more of a thunder wallop because it's a bit lower, or a thunder swaz. Thunder swaz.
Walloper, surely Walloper.
Aye, Thunder
Walloper.
Walloper is pretty
Thunder
good.
Walloper. Yeah. Okay, we'll go Thunder Walloper for that one. Just because it was low, he hit it really hard and low.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I can't call it the same as Penner's because that was,
That was
an
a
arrow
bastard.
in the top corner.
Yeah,
But yeah, Thunder Walloper.
yeah. I like
Hopefully
that.
next week we see a Thunder Cunt. Who knows? We might.
Hopefully against the Jimmy Jambos.
Aye.
Okay, let's move on to our kind of favourite player of the episode, as we're going to discuss a little bit more about him later also as well. Bradley has been absolutely amazing for us so far, Povey. Since he's come in, I don't think he's had a bad performance. And just, talk us through that kind of free kick. I mean, that's him on free kicks for the foreseeable now, when we know we can do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, see against St Johnstone when Kelly, trying to get a hat trick, stepped up for a couple. Fair play, don't blame him. First one he ballooned over, second one I can't mind, I think it was similar. But really, the Bradley Bear should have been up there doing that because what a absolute, what I don't know, free kicks for me are so simple in my wee stupid football mind, where I'm like, surely you can practice that just stay after training a bit longer and just get consistency. So that looked like a confident, brilliant free kick. I mean, it was a peach on target. We should be getting free kicks on target anytime we get a position like that. Silly challenge for the boy to give away, especially at that stage in the game, where we looked like we were coming right into it. But fair play to Bradley. It was a peach, and he's definitely on free kicks. I'd say, can he not be? So good on him, and hope to see more of that. But actually, in the league games.
Mm-hmm. Thomas,
I was stood right behind it, so I had
You shat yourself
the
when you saw it, yeah.
perfect. No, it was the other end.
All right.
But so we had the perfect line on the ball, so the bend on it and it going in. It was marvellous. It was a thing of absolute beauty. Just how it kind of just goes outside the post and then just drifts in. I don't think you really get it on the highlights because you just don't have that angle, but we had such a good angle to watch it. Knew it was in for the second it left his boot, honestly. You could just tell the shape of the ball, it was going in. It was marvellous. Absolutely marvellous.
Do you think it would have gone in if it was shooting into the Livy fans as an extra? Not if you think he would have hit it as well if it was shooting into Livy fans? I think that plays in his mind.
I don't know. My psychology's
When
a
you
little
know
rusty.
how good the Sellies would be cracking top corner.
Aye, I know. That would have been class up at our end. But Andy Shinnie tried to kill someone in the first half, so it's obviously added pressure.
He what?
Andy Shinnie put a free kick into the Livy
did
fans
he?
in the first half
Did they? Oh,
with
no.
violence. I don't know what was going on.
Really?
Wasn't the
You maybe
best
thought I was in the crowd with the amount I've been berating them over the last few weeks.
He was very smiley with me and Liam the other night when off. He was chatting away to us, which was quite nice. So I maybe knew it wasn't. He was like, he likes Liam, doesn't like Owen. And I'm gonna
Actually, by the way, just on that, I actually thought Shindog had a good game. By the way, thought it was
another good one.
I thought it was another. I know the opposition Stenhousemuir, but I thought he had a good game. Just throwing that out there.
I like it. It adds to our midfield dilemma that we can talk about. American and me talking about who our lineup, or at least our midfield lineup would be for the Hearts game. That'd be quite an interesting conversation. Just before let's finish off this game, Owen, we've got one more Stephen Bradley goal to talk about. Brilliant, he got on the kind of on the score sheet twice in one game. Kind of good, composed, kind of touch, and then kind of finish in the box. What was your thoughts on the goal?
He's just brilliant. Stephen Brilliant. Just change his name legally. It was a brilliant first touch, and then an excellent second, obviously second touch to just slot it into the back of the net. Again, I've not managed to make it to a game and actually see him in the flesh yet, but it seems as though he does quite a lot of the hard work off the ball as well as some very good work on the ball. That's possibly the best free kick as well, just because I wasn't kind of in the last conversation. But that's probably one of the best free kicks I've seen taken from a Livy player. I mean, that's up there with Zarati's against Rangers. It's up there with Jacobs against Motherwell. It's a top winner. There's not a keeper in any league, I would imagine, that's saving that. It was a top free kick. But yeah, no, for the second goal, you can see how much it means to him as well, which is good. As a young boy, he's got what looks to be a very, very promising career ahead of him. So now the third goal obviously just kind of sealed it for us, and once we get to that stage, we're then able to really take our foot off the gas for the rest of the game, which is again something which we need to kind of stop doing. If we're getting to that point where we're 3-0 up. I mean, fair enough, things like substitutions and stuff will start to kind of quieten our impact into the game down a little bit, but, it would have been nice to have seen if we kept going forward. I mean, again, I wasn't at the game, so Thomas and Povey can say whether or not we did continue to threaten for the rest of the game, but even the Twitter kind of highlights or the Twitter feed and stuff was kind of a bit more like less updates, so we weren't really kind of attacking, or makes it seem as though we weren't really attacking as much. But yeah, no, absolutely delighted for Stephen Bradley to come in and grab a couple of goals, and that's only going to, again, just as I was saying last week with Stephen Kelly, just going to basically boost his confidence sky high going into again a difficult game against Hearts on Saturday. Or Sunday, or whenever the fuck that game is.
I just, what I would say is, obviously, it was just comfortable. The rest of that game, in answer to your question, just very comfortable, and yeah, it could have been more. What I was going to say to you guys was, when was the last time we had such a big impact from a signing as quickly as Bradley's done? I'm genuinely struggling to think of someone who's made that big an impact that soon, particularly given it's a January transfer. Just wonder what your thoughts are there.
The easiest one to give to you straight away is Ryan Hardy and Lee Miller, both January signings, and essentially got us through the rest of that championship season. In terms of one individual player, because technically it was because of both of those players. Because without Lee Miller, Ryan Hardy technically wouldn't have worked. Without Ryan Hardy, Lee Miller wouldn't have worked really. So in terms of an individual player, I think you could be right there. Can't really think of a.
Certainly in the Premier League era, it's really hard to think of someone.
I mean, Nick Culkin, I know we're going to be talking about him later on, but Nick Culkin's probably in for a shout there.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but Nick Culkin is one that, I can sort of immediately think of that changed things for us. But or continued a good vein for us. But no, I think you would be struggling to think of a player specifically that changed things, especially like after January. But yeah.
No, I agree. That's very, very positive. The last thing, just before we move on to our next section, gents, It's either Inverness Cali Thistle or Queen's Park. Who would we rather play? Very quickly.
Cali, because of the history. I love a Livy Cali game. In terms of, I think it'll be a tough game regardless. If I'm honest, Cali obviously have given us problems in the League Cup group stages. Queens Park are flying. So Cali purely because of the whole Livy Cali thing, and I kind of want to save Queens Park for next season when they get promoted and we go to their tiny little baby Lego stadium.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Cali as well, just because with the whole League Cup thing before, I think we need to get a revenge on them, and also exactly Queens Park are flying, and I've got a couple of like jackets by them. They're my wee team. I'm a spider lion, spider lion. Tam, you?
Yeah, same as both above. My first game was Cali, years ago, or the first game that I remember at Livy. So yeah, a lot of good memories going to those games through the leagues, and yeah, it would be nice.
Owen?
I think it's a full house. I think I would rather have Cali, and I'm just going to be completely honest because I reckon if it was Queen's Park, I reckon we'd get beat. But
Ooh.
I think we would underestimate Queen's Park a little bit too much, and I reckon Queen's Park could pull off a result against. Not saying that Inverness can't pull off a result against us, but yeah, I think I would rather have Inverness just because. Yeah, Queen's Park have dumped us out the cup a couple of times in the past as well.
You do realise that we're fucking class.
I do know that we are fucking class, but we can be fucking class and then 1 minute and then be utter shite the next.
We're currently
Pull the finger out,
Especially-
Pull the finger out.
Especially in the cup. Especially in the cup.
we're
But
the fourth
a
best
good
team in
old fashioned
Scotland.
cup tie against Inverness would be perfect for me. Yeah, I'd go for that.
We're the fourth best team in Scotland. I wouldn't care if it was anyone below us in league position. We'd beat them all. We beat
Like
fucking
that,
Hearts.
Tam.
We'll beat Hearts this weekend. Fuck them.
Yeah,
Fuck
but
them.
Aberdeen are the third best team in Scotland and got beaten by Darvel.
Michael Beale is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, Michael Beale is just... Yeah, get him to fuck. Get him to fuck.
What a prick. We are clearly... Maybe he still thought that we were fourth best. Maybe he thought Hearts are really shit when he said that.
Hope he did.
Aberdeen are third, Livy are fourth. That was the bit of the interview that got cut out. But we're class. We'll be fine. We're winning the cup.
Will be fine.
Want to go to
Nice.
Hampden, which is probably the worst stadium in Scotland. I think I'd rather go to a game at Queen's Park's tiny wee mini Hampden than at actual Hampden. But
I've played on that pitch. I'm pretty big time, like
I'll
when it
check
was
you.
Astro.
Jake, you're gonna get 10,000 balls in your arse if we win the final.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about the 10,000 balls at Mars again. Just the two of us. We can
What a
make
shame.
it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. There we go. That's just for me and Tam, because we're just going to talk about the beautiful ladies' squad. So, Thomas,
yes,
the ladies high flying again, another victory. We spoke about this game was going to be huge last week because it's against top of the table rivals Rossvale. First time, if I remember right, the women have ever beaten Rossvale away.
correct.
Away, which makes it even more great. Another two big performance. Another performance from Brooke Anderson again, who's been such a great signing, and our new signing, which seems to be, I'm just checking from my phone, is Beth Mackay.
Yes.
Yes, so don't think we've spoken a little bit about Beth. Obviously, we'll talk about the goals too. Can you give us a bit of background on where Beth's been in the past? When did she join for the club? Is it literally only in January that she joined, or?
Yeah, it's very recent signing. I know that she trained with Livy before.
Okay.
I don't know how public that knowledge is, but fuck it. You know, get the inside info.
Fucking fuck it.
Fucking fuck it. Yeah, I know she trained with Livy before, and I think she ended up going to Hearts for a short time. So she was playing in the Prem. She played in a game against Hibs that I was at, I think. Hibs tried to get the biggest women's attendance in Scotland for an Edinburgh derby
remember.
a couple of years or so ago. 2 years ago, who knows? But yeah, she played in that game for Hearts, and while Hearts were a little bit disappointing overall, she had a decent game that day. So obviously really excited to see her come in, and she's made her impact to a big performance at the weekend just there.
Yeah, that's it's really already. We felt that the girls, even without new signings, had so much potential to really do well in this league. Smash last season as well. But the fact bringing in two big signings like Brogan and Beth, who have played at a higher level, and it seemed, and you can see it instantly, making a difference. So only kind of more exciting about the progression that's going to happen kind of past into the next season. So what's kind of the thoughts in the camp? Is it like league's done now, we just have to keep playing football, or do you think they've still got the kind of drive to win every single game from now on in?
It looks good, the table looks good, right? But you can't, with this league format, you can't really be drawn into being complacent at all.
Yeah.
Because they've still got quite a few games left, and then there's a split. So there's going to be points going all over the place, especially with the last few games. If it's tight in after that last split, you're going to be playing against three very, very good sides. There's other teams that can threaten as well. Maybe not for winning the league, but teams that have really grown through the season. Hutchie are an example, who've Livy got at the weekend. They're a decent side. They've been picking up some good wins, and Inverness, who beat Livy. The league standings don't kind of flatter them too much, but beat Livy up the road just before Christmas in the Scottish, and I've picked up a few results, especially at home. People find it really hard to travel there, probably because they don't follow the regulations and they don't have corner flags. But it's fine. We'll not get too salty about it.
Oh, you do a bit of corner flag salt on a Tuesday evening.
Oh aye. But I think that's Livingston's next game actually. Yeah. So away to Cali a week on Sunday. So these next two games coming up, home to Hutchie and away to Cali. It's a big 2 games. 6 points out of these two would be really, really big, and then just the small matter of home to Renfrew the weekend after. So big few weeks.
What time is the game on Sunday?
The game on Sunday is 1 o'clock away to Hutchie on Sunday. The website hasn't been updated yet. The SWF website.
I was going to say I would have thought that was a bit of a strange one when there's kick-off at 2.
It's like in high school or primary school when you've got like 22 players on each side of the park and you're playing 2 games at the same time.
Yeah, it's just like half and half.
Just go for it, man. It'd be good fun.
So it would seem like a really strong start on Sunday, and I think just from my memory that Livy were kind of 3-0 up. Was it in the first half, and then Rossvale started to come into it. I'd say maybe kind of scrappy. I wouldn't say that they were like defensive errors, maybe just not quite as sharp, but it just looked like the ball just kind of fell a bit awkwardly for them in their favour, and that's how they kind of scored their goal. Would you agree from?
Yeah, so I've only seen the highlights, and I mean Rebecca said to me it was quite a scrappy game. I think a lot of the girls have said that on the social media as well, that it kind of wasn't the prettiest performance. There was a lot of scrappiness there, but I think you're right. I think they definitely came back into it in the second half. So they really came into it in the second half. But yeah, I think it was just the breaks. Looking at the highlights, the goals were a little bit scrappy, a couple of mistakes, but nothing that kind of blew us away. That was what impressed me with Rossvale last season. They played some really, really good football and scored some great goals, but I don't know if personnel's changed or whatever, but they don't seem to be able to do that, or maybe just Livingston are defending it better now. But it's 2 big wins against Rossvale in a row, beating them at home before Christmas and beating them away now, and that's so big. Especially, I don't know if you've got a note on this, Jake, but other results this weekend going our way as well are massive. The the shock result of the last few weeks for me is Ayr United beating Renfrew 5-1. Granted, Ayr were at home, but Ayr didn't look great to me a couple of weeks ago through here when Livy beat them 3-4-1. They looked poor, very poor, second half especially. So for them to go out and flatten Renfrew, who've historically been one of the better sides in this league, is really interesting, and it leaves us with such a massive gap at the top of the league. So just having a look at it now, 11 points off Renfrew. Renfrew have a game in hand, of course. Also 12 points off Rossvale. Rossvale also have a game in hand, but who's that game in hand against, Jake? Do you know? No, Renfrew and Rossvale's game in hand is against each other. So, hopefully a draw would be great, but no matter what, it's going to take a team a bit further away. So yeah, nothing to worry about with the week so far, but it's a long season. There's still, a lot of game weeks left. There's the split to play, so let's not get the flares out yet, Monroe. Let's not get the flares out yet. Let's just keep calm and carry on.
We're going to move on to our game of the episode, which is the old classic Got Your Number, where we're going to be talking about number 16 this week, purely because of Stephen Bradley doing so well, and we're just wanting to celebrate him even more in the episode. So what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about some past 16s and just kind of compare them and go from there. So Pove, you're going to open up with your first one. Can you reveal to the team who he is?
Number 16, who got signed mid-season, or sort of mid... I don't have the facts in front of me because my computer's not working, but basically Brotto got injured and we signed in from Manchester United, number 16, 16 for us, Nicky Culkin. It's not a surprise because Owen bloody spoiled that already. But jokes. Nicky Culkin came in and really, Brotto was so good and had so many plaudits, and he had made some remarkable saves, obviously, notably penalty save against Celtic, Henrik Larsson, for example, things like that. Nicky Culkin came in, big gloves to fill, and certainly filled them. Kept our momentum going, kept getting the results, and again, I don't have the facts in front of me, but I'm sure contributed to many clean sheets as well. So he played a big role that season, and probably one of the more, underrated players from that season. What less talked about. Nicky Culkin's a big number 16 in our past. Arguably, I would say, we finished third in the league that year, so it's massive player for us in all ways, size and everything. Big, excellent goalie. So, that's my tuppence worth to number 16.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, Nick, he's a great shout. Signed from Man United. He was had this all big name behind him. He had one. What was it? He had one kind of between the legs stinker moment, and then apart from that,
was that against Dunfermline or something like that?
And then apart from that, he was so solid.
But I remember that. I remember on the back of that happening, he then we got some amazing results.
Yeah.
Later on after that, So
I think it was pretty early on when he joined.
Yeah.
When that happened.
And we're like, oh, for fuck's sake, miss Brotto already. But how many folk have said Brotto's the best keeper to play for Livy? So for him to come in and not be, how many goalkeepers have we seen in our past as well that can either make the difference or in both ways, being shit or being amazing? And he filled that hole amazingly. So good on him.
Yeah, I agree on that good hole filler. Owen, I'm going to go to... Had to be done, sorry, Povey. I'm going to go to you. Who is your number 16 that you discussed?
My number 16 is most recent, or one of the more recent 16s, Robbie Crawford. who I think when he came to us, he'd spent pretty much the majority of his career at Ayr United. Just kind of looking at statistics just now. 217 games, 16 goals. So he wasn't really kind of known for his goals, but a kind of tenacious central defensive midfielder. Kind of was in and out of our team. When I think at the beginning of the season, kind of spent a few games on the bench, and then kind of came in. But possibly one of the greatest impacts that he had on our result or on Livingston in general was his absolutely fantastic awareness and his pass to Scott Robinson for the opening goal in the 2-0 win against Celtic. He just, I think he even gets fouled like early on in the passage of play before it goes out to Lawless, and then it just ends up somehow back at his feet after getting tripped by somebody, and then just playing this amazing kind of almost reverse pass through to Scott Robinson to open the scoring. So ever grateful to Robbie Crawford for that. Kind of bizarrely, we sent him on loan to Motherwell, a team in the same league as us, which is not something I tend to agree with very much. But so he ends up on loan at Motherwell and never resurfaces for Livingston again, currently with Greenock Morton. But I think he was a cracking young player, maybe slightly underutilised. Kind of just went about and did his job, much like someone like Sean Byrne or that. So yeah, 16, Robbie Crawford is who I've chosen this week.
Yeah, great shout. I really liked Robbie Crawford. We were quite surprised. I remember when he got sent to Motherwell, we kind of really liked him. Seemed like a total course, but obviously wasn't kind of the right fit at the time. So Thomas, I'm going to go to you, who I can only guess who you're going to mention with the number 16. So Thomas, please reveal your super number 16 for the Livy Lions.
I've got a bit of a tap in here. This is what happens when you get your name in early for one of these things. Pick your player early, you get in the group chat. Say, I'm taking him. It's too easy. I have went for Sir Derek Simon Lilly. Did you know Simon was his middle name?
Didn't know that.
No.
Well, that's good Google.
Wikipedia does.
Simon says, win the cup.
Ha, yes.
That was shit. Sorry, I'll give you that. Sorry.
Bacon roll.
Bacon roll. I'm still laughing at that.
Yeah, so I think we've spoken a lot about Derek Lilly a lot. Obviously, he was the first guest we had on the Amman View podcast 2 years ago. 2 years? Someone give me 2 years ago, roughly. 2 years ago. Thank you. Everyone just looking about in space.
2 years ago? 2 years ago? Hey, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah. Thanks for the input, guys. But no, obviously scored in really crucial goals in one of our greatest seasons when we won the cup with a goal in the semi-final and a goal in the final. And he's also our top goal scorer, right? Like, in a season. I should know this. Fuck me, I'm tired, man. I'm sorry.
This is such a lazy effort, Thomas.
I know, it's a
2 years
terrible
ago? 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Top goal scorer? Top goal scorer? 2 years ago.
Sorry, boys.
I know his name's Simon. Ooh.
Simon says?
Simon? 2 years ago.
We didn't know that, did we? We didn't know that.
No.
Top league goal scorer?
Sorry, Thomas, but fucking hell.
I know. I've let the team down here. I let the boys down. I've let the team down.
I've got to tap in as well.
What?
Tap in?
I've got to tap in.
Tap in? 2 years ago.
That bit was quite easy. That bit was alright, to be fair. It's just went down.
It. It was a good start, man. It was a good start.
I could just go again.
No, I like the fact.
No, that's all staying in.
It just rinse me. It's fine.
And if anyone wants to find out more about Derek Lilly, please listen to our first episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how you
Let's
do it.
go.
2 years ago. Or do what we do and go to en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Derek_Lilly.
Simon.
Simon Lilly.
Simon Lilly. Okay, cool. Well, normally what we do is normally like we go to Liam, who's judge, and we decide who kind of are, if they deserve to keep the shirt, kind of thing. But Stephen Bradley's just been here for such a short time, so you can't really make that decision. But we did want to honour him being so good so far. But I mean, probably has to be between Culkin and Derek Lilly, I would say, because no offense to Robbie Crawford, but come on now. So just before we move on, I'm going to all our number 16s. Obviously, we mess a bit of 16s out when we were in lower leagues and that. One that, if you can remember this guy at all, please get in touch, because even our resident weird player knower wasn't that convinced. So Nick Culkin was in 2001-2002. Here's our game changer. In 2002-2003, Mateus Fernando Coelho.
I did look him up. He was a 19-year-old who signed from like River Plate in Argentina. We were signing a bunch of like South Americans for the kind of reserve squad at that time. There was also I remember there's like Alejandro Kefra or something like that, who was Colombian. He was the first Colombian player to be registered for a Scottish side or something.
Sergio Berti.
It was the same. Basically, we signed like 5 players all in the same day. We signed Alan Main, Guillermo Amor, who like Argentinian players, as well as another one that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, it was bizarre. I'd never even heard of it, so literally couldn't tell you.
I like that you're like, you had to almost big yourself back up there because you didn't know a player, but you're like, haha, here's all my other fun facts to make up for my lack of knowledge on this guy. Anyway, there you go. Every day's a school day with Owen. Okay, and then it was Derek Lilly for another couple seasons there, and then Stephen Adam to 506, and then we didn't have one 18-19. And then it was Robbie Crawford, Adam Lewis, and now we have Stephen Bradley. There you bloody go. Got your fucking number.
Thanks very much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please check out our previous episodes that include interviews with Livingston legends such as David Fernandez, Barry Wilson, John Guthrie, Sean Byrne, and many more. Check out our social media. Twitter and Instagram is @AmandViewPod. Facebook and YouTube, just search for the Amand View podcast, and make sure to subscribe to wherever you stream your podcast to get notified about new content. Forza Livy, hope to see you next week.